I'm the Irish guy, and right, pretty simple. For this video, I'm going to take a look at every Premier League club and see what academy graduate, someone who is still playing and at another club, which one would be a perfect fit for every Premier League team if they're allowed to bring one back. Honestly, which one that you let go would you love to have back in your team now? Right, let's go. Arsenal, Harry Kane. Can you imagine if this transfer was able to happen? If Arsenal fans were able to click their fingers and suddenly they'd have Harry Kane in a Gunners shirt? I really do believe there is more chance of Matt Damon coming over to my house for Christmas lunch. But it's funny, when Kane was a chubby little 10-year-old in the Arsenal Academy, do you think any of the youth coaches, even Liam Brady himself, thought that this little oik, someone who probably used to bring a lunchbox stuffed with chocolate muffins to training, someone whose mum probably used to buy him Pizza Hut every night, did anybody think he'd grow up to be a £100 million megastar, breaking records at Bayern Munich, Ireland, and former head of development at Arsenal Liam Brady probably thinks he has an eye for talent, but I'm sure all he saw in little Harry was just some plump human onion destined for a career of putting pints at weather spoons. Lads, can you imagine an Arsenal team where Harry Kane is shoved up front instead of Gabriel Jesus? I mean, that was what Pep Guardiola was trying to make happen at Man City. But yeah, if Arteta had Kane, they'd win the league title with ease. Aston Villa, Jack Grealish. Well, this is very obvious. It's kind of sad that Aston Villa don't really have that many academy graduate superstars out there. This is an academy which used to produce Champions League and Premier League winners, but now it's a bit rough. Lads, two of the four most valuable Villa academy graduates currently still playing are the Ramsey brothers. Look, Sheffield United striker Cameron Archer does look sharper in front of goal and would probably be a useful fill-in for Ollie Watkins when he inevitably gets tired after March. Oh, come on. The answer is Jack Grealish. If Unai Emery was able to have him at his disposal, they'd probably get top four. Bournemouth, Danny Ings. Look, Danny Ings is an absolutely busted flush. This is a former Premier League goal machine who these days looks like a shy, tiny kitten who's too scared to come out from hiding underneath the couch. Look, Bournemouth don't really have many ex-academy stars out there being classed. So yeah, Ings might be allergic to goals at West Ham, but he's only 31. He wouldn't change the game back at Bournemouth or anything, but Andoni Areola might like having him as a super sub option off the bench. Honestly, the immediate overnight change in Ings, it reminds you of Darren Bent, a mid-table Golden Boot challenger for years, but like Ings, signs for Aston Villa and then just stops. Both men went from being 20 goal a season superstars to absolute broken toasters in a Villa shirt. I don't understand how. Is there some evil, jealous backroom coach at Villa who keeps poisoning these England international centre-forward superstars? Are they just pouring cow laxatives into their tea? Honestly, Bendit was rubbish after Villa, and now, sadly, so is Ings. Honestly, if I'm Ollie Watkins, then right now, I'm bringing my own lunch to work. Brentford, Tyrick Mitchell. Look, I realise that Brentford are pretty settled fullbacks in their team with Aaron Ricky and Rico Henry, but still, I mean, there's no harm adding another quality one to the pile. To be fair, objectively, Gareth Southgate thinks that Mitchell is a better left back than Henry because one of them has 2 England caps and it sure isn't Rico. Look, Mitchell is 24 years old, doing well at Crystal Palace, but they snapped him up from Brentford's academy in 2016 when he was just a little boy. The only reason he was forced to quit Brentford, the home of Corrupt FM, it was because they had to shut down their academy in 2016 due to a financial crisis. Not very clever, bees. Brighton, Ben White. Lads, the obvious answer is Ben White. Yes, he was only in Brighton's academy for 2 years after they pinched him from Southampton. Honestly, the Saints, after moulding this kid for 8 years, to then watch him walk out the door at 16, it was not clever. I mean, there are different players, sure, but he would have been the perfect cheap centre-back replacement for Virgil van Dijk. Honestly, getting £75 million for VVD and having White as a replacement for free? Wow! To be fair though, I am shocked that White turns 27 years old next year. 27. That's not young. That's the age that rock stars start dying on the toilet. The fact that a £50 million superstar talent only has 4 England caps at 26, I think he is wasting his career at right back. To me, as a centre half, under the right coaching, he can be every bit as good as John Stones. I mean, chuck White back into that centre half pairing with Lewis Dunk, and I genuinely believe that would be far better for his England career than, you know, just playing out of position, out wide in a golden generation of English right backs. It's not clever, Ben. Burnley, Dan Gore. Look, you might think that the obvious answer would just be to bring Dwight McNeil back to Burnley. But no, if Burnley are serious about buying into Vincent Kompany's ball-playing philosophy long-term, then bringing back an old-fashioned crosser, the modern-day Keith Gillespie, really is not the answer. And you've got little elves like Michael Obafemi and Lyle Foster in the box, 2 men who probably need to ask the staff in Tesco if they can help them reach a cereal box on the top shelf. I'm gonna go left field here and choose 19-year-old, up-and-coming ball-playing England under-20 international central midfielder Dan Gore, who is on the fringes, the cusp of the Man United first team. He was in the Burnley Academy up until he was 14. I genuinely believe that company should try and get him on loan in January. I mean, look at Man United this season. We've barely seen Gore at all, which is also my biggest complaint for the latest Saw film. Just kidding, I haven't seen it. Well, to make that terrible pun, he's a deep-line playmaker now, but his old youth boss, Mike Hargreaves at Burnley, has said that when he was at Turf Moor, he was a striker, scoring 100 goals every single season for the under-9s right through to the under-12s, so he's clearly got a reputation at Burnley. There's probably a painting of him in the academy staff room. Go on, Gore. Get some game time under company. Chelsea, Jamal Musiala. Look, I know many Chelsea fans will be screaming the name Declan Rice, but no, there's a few ex-Chelsea Academy graduates who would be welcome returning to Stamford Bridge. Likes of Michael Olise, Tammy Abraham, Nathan Ake, Fikayo Tomori, Mark Gay, Tino Livramento, even Dominic Solanke would be a significant upgrade in Brozier right now. I mean, I never thought I'd say that. I used to think he was some useless brick beanpole with the first touch of Mr. Bean. But come on, Jamal Musiala is a 20-year-old midfield superstar, a German international star boy playmaker at Bayern Munich. He spent 8 years in the Chelsea Academy, and weirdly, 1 in Southampton. Remember what I said about the Saints being upset at losing White? Oh, no. It gets worse. The club were sitting on Musiala whilst they were rotting in League One. This is a little child who was probably starstruck whenever Ricky Lambert walked past him in the training ground whilst munching on a lunchtime steak pie. But yeah, Musiala quit Chelsea just before the 2019 transfer ban. Can you imagine if Frank Lambert was able to mould Musiala at Derby County alongside Mason Mount before he got the Chelsea gig? Oh, Derby would have won the championship title with 100 plus points, despite Lampard having the tactical knowledge of a hungover ostrich. Chelsea would love to have Musiala now. Crystal Palace and Wan-Bissaka. Look, I considered bringing back Wilfred Zaha, but to be fair, Palace have already moved on from him with other silky ballers. And considering he's now in his 30s, I think the club are already trying to ignore the reality of age by having a vampire's granddad in the dugout. So instead, Wan-Bissaka will be a perfect fit at right back, an uncompromising, straight-up brick of a defender. Someone who eats tackles as their lollipops. He would be a wonderful addition to this Palace team. Although, again, like White, for his next birthday, he also turns 27. Since when did all these young prospects get so old? It only feels like 5 minutes ago. He was an up-and-coming wonder kid knocking on the door of England. I mean, I've since blinked twice, and the bloke's nearly 30. Forget potential. The guy's in his peak now. He's never getting any better than what he is, and will never play for England, which is, for a £60 million Man United right back, that is weird. Everton, Anthony Robinson. Look, I could go for Anthony Gordon, but I'm actually going to pick a different Anthony. The underrated Robinson. An exciting USA international left back who absolutely burns down the left flank for Fulham. I don't know, considering he's that good as a pack for 11 years, and he was never allowed to make his debut even once. It seems a bit of a waste. Lads, he was on loan at Wigan in 2018. If the Latics had chosen to play their other loanee, Reece James, at right back instead of in midfield, then the club would have had the best fullback pair in championship history. Right? I think Robinson at Everton would be perfect at left back. Sean Dyche would love him. Fulham, Ebereki Eze. This one was close. I really considered Harvey Elliott for Fulham. Believe me, this Liverpool midfield kid was close, but no. Ebereki Eze just has that star quality about him. An absolute midfield magician maverick who, yeah, has actually been capped twice by England. This guy was passed around London academies as a child. But yeah, he spent 2 years at Craven College between 2011 and 2013. I just think playing a Marco Silva's exciting, attack-minded brand of football, he would be brilliant. I mean, can you imagine the freedom, the license to roam that Eze would have had in their 2 5-0 home wins inside 10 days? Eze would have chewed the likes of West Ham and Forest with his teeth. I genuinely believe in an attacking team like Fulham, Eze would probably get a £50 million move to someone like Chelsea. Liverpool, Anthony Gordon. This is a suggestion that probably makes Liverpool fans sick in their lap. They hate Anthony Gordon. This is a fella who must feel a bit like Wayne Rooney between 2004 and 2017, in that he's a proud Scouser who is not welcome back on Merseyside by anyone. They all hate him now. His poor mum probably has to wear a Halloween mask going out to eat food at a restaurant, otherwise she'd have the waiter spitting in her potato. Listen, Gordon is an Everton Academy graduate, yes, but he joined them aged 11 after already being released by Liverpool. It's mad. It only feels like Gordon has just burst on the scene, but he was actually making his Everton debut in 2017. He just then went into hiding for years. But yeah, it was actually Liverpool who scouted this winger from a Sunday League team. Gordon has said that he was devastated to be released at Anfield. He probably thought he was the future of that club, the next Raheem Sterling. He probably had Coutinho posters on his wall, but no. The youth coaches must have decided that he's just an energetic rat with all the end product of a pea-stained carpet. Little did they know, they were throwing away a future Champions League winger who cost Newcastle nearly £50 million. Honestly, an absolute tireless workhorse like Gordon would be a perfect Jurgen Klopp buy. This fella, in Liverpool's system, he has the potential to be another Sadio Mane. On that left wing for Liverpool, I think he'd be terrific. And yeah, would probably help Liverpool win the league. Luton Town, Charlie Patino. Look, the obvious boring answer is just to bring back Leicester fullback James Justin to the club, but I'm going to go a little rogue instead. Charlie Patino is a highly rated 20-year-old midfield starter at Arsenal. This is an absolute midfield baller. He's almost viewed as a mini Fabregas, and he's currently pulling strings on loan at Swansea. This is an absolute midfield baller who's been compared to the likes of Santi Cazorla and Frankie de Jong. Look, I know Justin is the safe answer. Just plop him in at left back, but Patino, he is a highly rated wonder kid. His ceiling could be immense. If Luton were able to click their fingers and have back the kid they sold to Arsenal for £10,000 when he was 11, it would be quality business. Although am I the only one who thinks it's really weird that the Gunners paid £10,000 for a child who was still writing letters to Santa Claus? 10 grand for a little boy? Football is mad. Man City, Romeo Lavia. Man City have a lot of academy graduates. And yes, the likes of Michael Elise and Cole Palmer would be high up the list, but I think we can all see that Man City need more depth in central midfield. I know they have Rodri, Mateo Kovacic and Mateus Nunes, but Calvin Phillips is a disappointing burger bun who is surely going to be sold. Romeo Lavia has been injured his whole time at Chelsea, yeah, but come on, he's a 19-year-old defensive midfield baller, someone who both Chelsea and Liverpool were fighting over in the summer. He only lasted 2 years at City, but I genuinely believe this elegant, composed, silky midfield machine would be a perfect replacement for Rodri when he's sick. Man United Dean Henderson. Man United's academy has really taken such a knock. It is sort of depressing. It is a club which were able to produce the class of 92, but I'm sorry, according to transfermarket.com, the most valuable ex-academy star right now, who's not at the club, is Jack Harrison of Everton. Now, I'm not going to suggest that Man United bring him back to the club. It would be a bit like offering a prima donna like Britney Spears if she'd like to eat chicken nuggets out of a bin. Maybe Dwight McNeil would at least cross the ball into the box for the utterly starved Rasmus Højlund. He gets such little service, he looks utterly lost in the box, like a bored grandma waiting for the bus. But no, I'm not going to go with McNeil. I'll just pick Dean Henderson. It's obvious. I mean, they sold him to Crystal Palace for £15 million, but I think everyone sort of realizes that he would be a fine Man United number one. Andre Onana is having an absolute nightmare between the sticks, but Henderson, again, he's also turning 27 soon, has played over 50 times in the Premier League, is a fairly reliable, dependent shot stopper. No, he's not the future of the game, no. All he is just a younger Joe Hart, but he wouldn't make as many mistakes as Onana. Surely. Newcastle Olivier Kemen. Newcastle's academy has been awful for years. There aren't any graduates at other clubs who would improve Newcastle's team. No. Adam Armstrong has proven in the Premier League that he's just a wet Wolverine. Neither Freddie Woodman or Fraser Forster would offer any sort of challenge to Nick Pope for the starting place in goal. Rangers goal machine defender James Tavernier would be third choice Newcastle right back, so that seems fairly pointless. I don't know. Liverpool's teenage midfielder Bobby Clark could be anything. Same with Man United's young striker Shola Shortire. So let's just say Olivier Kemen, a Cameroon international midfielder who plays regularly for Kayserispor in Turkey. He's 27, spent 2 years at Newcastle between 2013 and 2015 before being poached by Lyon. Yeah, I realize he's a broken dustbin who would have absolutely no impact on the squad, just being their modern day Henry Slivette, just eating popcorn in the reserves, struggling to make conversation with the 18-year-olds of today. I don't know, maybe I should just change my mind. You know what? I think I might just pick Woodman instead. Nottingham Forest, Jamal Lewis. Okay, the obvious answers screaming at me are Brennan Johnson and Matty Cash, but oh no! Forest have been defensively diabolical this season. They've conceded 30 goals in 17 league games. They were recently 1-5-0 at Fulham. Their defenders have been absolute tripe. What they need is actual leadership at the back. If you offer Nuno Espirito Santo the chance to play Jamal Lascelles in defence, he'd be giddy beyond belief. He came through at Forest before being sold to Newcastle nearly 10 years ago, but this season, he's been a centre-back star, captaining Newcastle in the Champions League group of death. He'd be a rock for Forest and a born captain. Sheffield United, Harry Maguire. Sheffield United have a few. I consider Aaron Ramsdale replacing Wes Foderingham in goal. Dominic Calvert-Lewin will be a decent foil for the lively Archer up front. And yes, Kyle Walker is obviously the best player, but I think Harry Maguire would have the biggest impact. I mean, there's no use having a treble-winning world star right back when their centre backs are absolute wet porridge. And so yeah, Maguire has been quietly good for Man United this season. The Blades have a hopeless defence, but having a current England international centre-half, someone who did cost £80 million, having him in their back three under Chris Wilder, a system where he plays very well for England, I think he'd be an absolute rock. Tottenham, Armando Brya. Look, the answer is Harry Kane, but the rule is that I can't pick the same player in this list twice, so I guess Armando Brya, an Albania international striker, who was actually born in Slough in 2001, the same year The Office was on the air. The Office was being filmed 2 streets down from a newly born Brya crying for milk? How very weird. This kid has been in England his whole life. Lads, he was at Tottenham the year they signed Darren Bent. He's been in English football for so long before ditching Spurs for Chelsea when he was 8. Listen, Spurs need a centre forward. And Brya was good up front on loan at Southampton. He's technically good, a handful in the box, a bit low on confidence now, but I don't know. He might be better than Richarlison. West Ham, Declan Rice. Obviously, Wolves Morgan Gibbs-White. Gary O'Neill would break his arm in 12 places if it meant he was able to pick Morgan Gibbs-White in his Wolves team, an absolutely saucy midfield playmaker who was at Wolves for 14 years before he was sold to Forest. Everybody laughed at Forest for overpaying. What, £25 million with a further £17 million in add-ons for overpriced English hype? No. MGW is actually really good. Wolves must hate selling him. Anyway, that's what. Let me go. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. What player would you like back? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.